everybody. I've written a story. It's entitled The Last Son of Secaucus. Carl Kelly had everything you need to be a superhero. A tragic origin, an alliterative name, and an ability to consume alcohol that ranked him, if not as a post-human, then at least some sort of mutant. Like many heroes, he'd gone misunderstood by society, kicked out of his shelter, abandoned by his so-called allies, wandering the streets of New Jersey, offering furtive prayers to a deity he identified only as the boss. Life is grand, life is great, gonna eat an entire cake. He sang wildly off-key as he lumbered towards the alley behind the seasonal Halloween store. It had completed its goal of selling sexy hamburger costumes and overpriced candy to rubes before blowing away like so much dust in the wind, the cyclical nature of holiday retail taking its course like a cicada made of plastic gravestones, fake turds, and fun-sized Reese's peanut butter cups, which, in a pinch, could be used as fake turds. Carl surveyed the alley. The bar down the street had taken to disposing of their liquor bottles at other locations, as Carl had been shattering them into a mesh strainer and collecting the remaining liquid in a bucket. It wasn't a foolproof method, but his vomiting blood from tiny chunks of glass in his throat was indistinguishable from his vomiting blood from the general breakdown of his body. His eyes searched and saw the cape, waving weakly from the dumpster. He ambled over and ran his fingers across the fabric. Sperm Man, he muttered and pulled forth the costume. The cape would provide warmth and further enhance his claim that he belonged to the royal line of the Duke of Old Jersey. The S emblazoned across a plastic chest, adorned with fake muscles, would intimidate any potential predators, especially important as he believed there may have been a wolf stalking him. And the red underwear on the outside would make up for his lack of underwear on the inside. The costume chafed against his skin, but he found irritants to be fair motivators, demonstrated by the pants zipper rubbing raw his junk, and the small end of a hypodermic needle in the heel of his left boot. He wore the costume, put his fists against his hips, puffed forward his torso, and for the first time in decades felt strong. More than the strength he felt when he drank, that strength of forever being correct and cool and handsome and smart and invincible until the end of the night. Moral fortitude, the might of a just ideal, the power of the 3/4 centuries old symbol flowed through him. He remembered the books he'd read as a boy depicting the powers he'd inherited. He began by building a running start and spinning the world against its axis to reverse the flow of time and fix his relationship with Brenda in order to avoid his current fate. But was stopped by a brick wall for which he assumed he could vibrate his molecules, and two incontrovertible facts. Brenda was an excuse he used to justify his behavior, and vibrating your molecules through solid objects was only something the Flash could do. There was good to be done elsewhere. He patrolled the streets, receiving odd yet begrudging looks from those who had no right to be up so late and judgmental. A group of teenagers yelled from a passing vehicle, "Man of shit smell!" But he misheard it as Manischewitz and waved anyway to honor his costume's Jewish legacy. The liquor store was his proving ground, as it had been many times before. A man in a purple ski mask waved his gun at the cashier, whose indifferent expression had changed very little when confronted with the possibility of his own death. "Give me all your money, dickhead," the robber yelled. "Well, you don't have to resort to name-calling," the clerk said. Carl snuck in and hid behind a cardboard stand of a woman holding cans of beer over her nipples. He grabbed a nearby bottle of vodka, tore a strip off his cape, stuffed it down the bottle's neck, and flicked his lighter awake. At the resulting click, the thief turned and saw Carl standing before him. "Who's this dick?" were the last words he said with his own natural lips, as Carl growled, "Burn!" and tossed the lit bottle, engulfing the man in flames. He ran out the store screaming and sizzling, rolling on the pavement until the fire was extinguished. The cashier offered his thanks in a complimentary bottle. Carl asked for wild turkey, saying, "You are what you drink," and vanished into the night. Over the next few days, the town experienced a rash of drunken heroism. A cat was saved from a tree by hurling bottles at it. A purse snatching was foiled when a caped figure jumped on the thief from the second-story fire escape in which it had slept. A knife-wielding lunatic claiming to be a fifth-dimensional wizard was subdued by a shovel-wielding lunatic claiming to be a guy with a shovel, so you better settle the hell down before you get a face of it. The time doing good had garnered Carl unexpected local fame, where once people had addressed him as, "Oh my God, what is that thing?" and ousted him from urinating in and/or on their better homes and gardens. He was now celebrated as the Secaucus superhero and given free rein to pee most anywhere. Before, he was a surly, violent drunk who lived only to further degrade himself. And now, he was a surly, violent drunk who lived only to battle the forces of evil and further degrade himself. And it sufficed until that black day in December. The reporter knocked on the flap of Carl's box. She was young and brandished a phone at eye level as she talked. She introduced herself as Lynette Lee, a reporter for the digital edition of the local alternative weekly. They'd sent her to gather video that could be cut into short, looping images to accompany an article called 24 Reasons We Love the Secaucus Superhero, and also pictures of dogs. "Sure, kids love dogs," Carl replied and threw up a small amount of green bean chili. He bounded around the back lot of the abandoned Blockbuster video behind which he slept, flexing limp muscles and straining himself against a lead pipe which refused to hold up its end of the deal and bend. "This is great. Everyone watching the stream loves it," the reporter said. After 20 minutes and a corresponding number of Milwaukee's best, they appeared. The liquor store thief led them, his skin rendered a purple shade and mouth burnt to a smooth hole. Amongst the score stood the shovel-faced knife wielder, a stocky, wrinkled old man in a skirt, and a guy with a metal hook hand. "Kelly, you miserable wino!" the purple man shouted. "You've ruined our lives, and now we're gonna ruin your face! Bring it, jerkwads! You'll kill me as soon as you kill truth, and justice, and liberty, and love, and the American Safeway!" They dove towards each other, Carl arcing his pipe to shatter bone and hook. Fist cracked and blood spilled, and minutes felt like eternity. "Somebody do something," Lynette yelled at her phone. "I can't call the police and stream at the same time. SMH!" Soon they overpowered Carl and stripped him of his weapon. The bald local business owner who Carl had reported to the health department for employing illegal immigrants grabbed Shovelface's knife and plunged it into the hero's side. Before he could make another wound, a batarang smacked him in the face. They appeared from all corners. Green Lanterns, Wonder Womans, Spider-Mans, Wolverines, from all universes and all walks of life they arrived. "The people of this town have had enough of you cowardly, superstitious lot," a chubby Batman with an ill-fitting cowl announced. The heroes converged on the villains, and despite their lack of muscles or general fitness, they assembled to fight the foes no single hero could withstand. It was later ranked as the third greatest gang beating in New Jersey history. A state which prided itself on its great gang beatings. Lynette cradled Carl in her arms, well, the one arm that wasn't holding a phone. "Just tell them," he croaked. "Tell them what the symbol on my chest stood for. The most important thing in the world." "What does it stand for?" Lynette asked. "Hope?" "There's no S in hope. That's stupid as hell." "It stands for Superman." The funeral was held the next day. From across the tri-state area, nerds, geeks, dorks, dweebs, and the greater alcoholic community all came to pay homage. As the casket was interred, a man in a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and red bandana looked on in respect. The headstone bore the symbol of the House of L and a simple inscription: "Carl Kelly died, and there would be no return." The end. All right, one thing to plug. I am doing a fiction storytelling show at Lost Weekend Video on November 3rd. It's called Gimme Fiction. It's going to be a real great time. It's going to be a number of comedy and literary people telling great stories. So I would love it if you all came. Thank you.